Thank you. I'm going to yield myself 5 minutes for questions. And Mrs. Tahmooressi, I'd like to start with you. Interesting enough, Mr. Hegseth, after the release of Bergdahl, there was a lot of media scrutiny about that arrangement, that trade, and the President very boldly said on national TV that as Commander-in-Chief, he leaves no soldier behind. That's his policy. I just want to ask you, Mrs. Tahmooressi, has the President personally called you? Has he personally contacted you about this case?
No, he is not, Chairman.
To the best of your knowledge, has the President made any kind of a phone call to the President of Mexico to intercede on Andrew's behalf?
Not to my knowledge.
I know I had a personal meeting with Vice President Biden the week before the President was to speak with the President of Mexico, and Vice President Biden assured me that they would be on top of it, and I was told after the phone call that the President did not bring it up. Very, very disappointed. Can I ask you, Mrs. Tahmooressi, how have the Mexican authorities treated you as you search for information regarding your son and his location? Have they been forthcoming, or have they left you in the dark during this process?
Well, the judicial process is one that is done in secrecy, in a sense, because I attend all of Andrew's hearings, and supposedly it's supposed to be open to public, yet each and every hearing I attend, the Honorable Presiding Judge asks that I sit out in the hallway because there's not enough space in the courtroom. So I have not been given any information forthcoming from Mexico officials other than a fact sheet that did come out some time ago. Yet I had some questions on their facts.
I was mystified when you told me that the judge would not allow you, the mother, to come in and sit in the hearings, that you actually have to sit outside.
Correct. And it's always it's interesting that it's always a hearing room that's selected without even a window. All of them have windows except for the one that Andrew's court proceedings are going in.
How about our folks at the consulate there in Tijuana? Have they been pretty helpful?
Well, the local department, that would be Consul General Andrew Erickson, who actually served with Andrew in Afghanistan in 2012. From a personal standpoint, like making sure Andrew has a toothbrush, making sure that I get escorted in and out safely, because there is travel warnings. In the beginning, they had red alert travel warnings to Mexico. Americans were supposed to keep a low profile because of a high risk of kidnapping. So they do help escort me in and out. However, it is the State Department local level on April 14th that translated the VA medical record that I ran to San Diego and got. And it is the State Department in Tijuana, Mexico on April 14th that flew in Dr. Regal from the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City. Dr. Regal did a full evaluation that day. I witnessed it. And I received the report from the State Department approximately May 1st with the diagnosis of PTSD. It was translated and supposedly given to the judge, but it was never used it was never entered into court as evidence to substantiate PTSD. It was not considered. I don't know if it was because it wasn't considered legitimate. It was from it was a U.S. source, and that's why just 2 days ago, 6 months into this ordeal, a Mexican psychiatrist has come in to validate combat-related PTSD, which I just find ironic because they don't send their military to combat. So, but the Mexican psychiatrists are considered legitimate, but not Dr. Regal, who did a full evaluation from our U.S. Embassy in Mexico City on April 14th, but those documentations have not seemed to be effective or considered of high importance.
Thank you. Lieutenant Commander Williams, you mentioned in your testimony that him being in prison for 6 months is extremely counterproductive to his PTSD. Can you elaborate on that just a little bit?
Yes, sir, no question. I was afforded with Jill an opportunity to speak to Andrew, 3 days ago. And it was my first time speaking to him because I literally tried my best to keep this off of Montel and keep this on Andrew, and knowing that when I enter this fray, the press would maybe take it in the wrong direction. When as I spoke to him, he said to me the other night, specifically, we talked for a couple minutes just in general, how you doing, you okay? And I said to him, it's an ignorant question for me to ask you, Andrew, but you know, Marina Marie, how are you doing? And he paused and he said, I have a hard time keeping the bad thoughts out. I have a hard time keeping the bad thoughts out. This is 2 days ago. If I have a hard time keeping the bad thoughts out, this is a key statement from a person suffering right now. And he was sending that message, I think, clearly to let me know and let his mom know it's not going well. But he couldn't say it in any other way. So why am I so concerned? Again, this is not about me, but most of you know I've suffered from MS for the last 20 years, diagnosed in 1990. My MS, I have scars in my brain that are close to the equivalent of a concussive blast. So these symptoms I recognize. I'm in a treatment protocol for them now, and I'm doing very well. However, I know 1 day, 2 days without treatment that I have, these things come back. And unfortunately, Andrew being involved in a concussive blast, we've just now determined he has traumatic brain, PTSD, but they really haven't looked at his brain yet. And there may be residual effect that's going to cause this a little bit longer to be treated. And now for him to sit in a prison, and I know we're hesitant to say it, but the rumors are that he has been beaten. He's been treated like a POW, not a person incarcerated for making a mistake. And he said it to his mother, and he said it to his peers. His treatment here is worse than being in Afghanistan. And for a person who's suffering to make that statement, he knows it. So when we get him home, this is just the beginning. But it's also an example of what we need to make sure we take care of for the other guys and the other soldiers that are serving and suffering the same way.
Thank you very much. The chair yields to the gentlewoman from Hawaii.